How's it going? It's Mike with Maxxsonics again, here today to talk to you about the MX-3 bass controller. In this video, we're going to describe expert setting and adjustments. In the manual, we give you basic installation instructions, but I want to show you exactly how I would adjust it, and that way you can adjust it in the same fashion. The MX-3 bass controller works in line from your factory head unit into a line output converter, and takes a signal from your line output converter and buffers that and gives you the opportunity to enhance frequencies that are generally lost in a factory application, because your factory head unit already crosses over frequencies and eliminates frequencies so that your speakers that are currently in line will not be blown or play frequencies that they weren't designed for. But this MX-3 will take that signal and enhance that and bring in that low end. It also works in line with an aftermarket head unit and your amplifier to your subwoofer. It gives you complete control over a wide spectrum of frequencies, runs it through a series of buffers, and then you obviously have the enhancements that you also have when you're using it with the line output converter. The first thing that we want to do is we want to come over to our mono amplifier and make the necessary adjustments in preparation for complete control from the MX-3. When your amplifier comes from the factory, it will have all of your controls all the way to the left. So the first thing you'll want to do is adjust your low pass. Bring your low pass all the way to the right. That way you have a full range of frequencies that are passed through on the low end. Subsonic filter will already be all the way to the left, so now you have all the frequencies from 15 Hz to 250 Hz that are passing through your amplifier. Leave your bass boost at 0, which is all the way to the left, and then your input level control needs to be adjusted approximately 12 o'clock position. By going to the 12 o'clock position, you allow for the amplifier to have nice, clean output without going into a clipping state. Alright, so now we come over to the head unit. And when you come to the head unit, you have to have a test tone disc. And at this point, today's tests are all going to be using 45 Hz. And that's what we're going to work around. So we have our head unit, and we need to establish the optimal clean output. So we find out what the head unit's max volume is, which on this unit is 50. We'll take it to approximately volume 35, which will give us nice clean output so that we have no clip signals being presented from the head unit. Then we have our selected track, which is 45 Hz. Set that on repeat in your functions. Then we need to measure the signal output on the RCAs using our digital multimeter set to volts AC. Once you have your digital multimeter set up to volts AC, you take the RCAs that are coming out of the head unit, select one pin, take your positive to the center pin, take your negative connection to the outside shield, and then watch your digital multimeter and you'll see what your output signal voltage is. So we know we're at 0.6 volts. That gives us an idea when we go to the MX-3 for our adjustments. Okay, so now that we have measured the clean signal output from our head unit, we've connected the RCAs directly from the head unit's output to the input on the MX-3, and the first adjustment that we're going to make is going to be your low pass filter. This adjustment will be based on the frequency that you want to cut off your subwoofer response at. Generally, I like about 60 to 80 Hz depending on the subwoofer and the application. Next adjustment will be the subsonic filter, which will cut the low end off, and frequencies below this setting will not be reproduced. With our subwoofer, we're going to go ahead and set this over at about 35 Hz, so that 35 Hz and to 80 Hz are reproduced. Our next step is adjusting the subwoofer input level control to the output level control that we measured from your head unit. And we knew that it was 0.6 volts. So approximately 0.6 volts of signal input. Alright, this step involves taking your positive and negative leads from your digital multimeter and connect them to the positive and negative speaker terminals on your amplifier. Alright, our first step is setting our digital multimeter to volts AC. Now you're going to see a reading coming out, and that reading is what's very important to watch when you're making the adjustments on the parametric bass EQ. This is so that we can adjust the level that we want to boost, the frequency that we want to boost, and then the range of boost, and then the amount of boost. This is what's useful in your aftermarket as well as factory installations where some frequencies are lost due to filtering. This gives you the opportunity to enhance the frequencies that you want to. So our first adjustment is the frequency. And we're going to adjust 45 Hertz because that's what we're using for our tone. So as you watch the digital multimeter, you're going to see the reading begin to enhance. When you get to the highest point on that, you'll know that your frequency, there we go, it's our highest level. Now we can determine what range we want to boost. This bleeds out into frequencies above and below the tuning frequency that you just selected. I'm going to go about 12 o'clock position. That'll bleed in nice enhancement about 10 Hertz above and 10 Hertz below. And now we enhance the amount of boost. 0 to 10 dB is what's available to us. And we'll go until we get to a nice enhancement without any kind of clipping. So I'm going to say about 12 o'clock position. The final adjustment that we're going to make is the subwoofer output level control. This is what determines the amount of signal that's presented to your amplifier, and honestly is best used to match up to the output of the other speakers in your installation. And for the demonstration purposes, we're not going to go to a really high level because I want you to be able to hear me. When you're adjusting this in your vehicle, you'll adjust to a point where you have optimal output without distortion or without protection of the amplifier. The MX-3 also comes with a dash mount level control. And this dash mount level control allows for you to have it completely in the off position, and all controls are from the MX-3. As soon as you turn this on, your volume is reduced to minimum, and you have complete control up to the maximum level that you've set on your MX-3. It also features pre-clip, soft clip, and hard clip indication so that you know if you're getting to a state that's unstable for your amplifier or subwoofer. Just a quick side note, we've got the brand new Quart RLP304 shallow mount subwoofer. This sub has 3 inches of mounting depth. It's a dual 4-ohm voice coil subwoofer, 300 watts RMS, 600 watts peak. Absolutely incredible. The enclosure that we've been using for our testing is 0.5 cubic feet internal, and this subwoofer is amazing.